Hey guys, Omni here. I actually did not plan this whatsoever. I just took a shower earlier today, happened to just put on my Miyagi-Do shirt, and here we have Screen Junkies just a little bit ago dropping their honest trailers for the Cobra Kai series. So if you haven't seen, go check out my reactions to all of season 3. And yeah, I loved it. Loved it to death. It was a lot of fun. I love this franchise so much. You know, from the original films that I grew up with going into this show, it's been an amazing journey, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. And I can't wait to see what the guys over at the Honest Trailers team have to say about the show itself. I imagine there's going to be quite a bit. It's a fairly long Honest trailer compared to some of their usual stuff, so let's go ahead and pull it up and see what we got to go off of here.
The following trailer is rated S for spoilers and K for karate. From the executive producer of Jaden Son and 3 huge Daniel Stans comes a show that got everything right about making a new TV franchise, except for launching it on YouTube Red. Goodbye, Fallen Soldier.
I mean, that's where I started watching it.
Dojo. Cobra Kai. Prepare for the story of what happens after the triumphant freeze-frame ending of your favorite 80s movie, in a premise that sounds like it has just enough gas to power a Funny or Die sketch. But it's actually good enough to fuel multiple seasons. And now that the Saved by the Bell sequel is off to a fun start too, we're back on board with the last scraps of pop culture being strip-mined and fed back to us by telecoms and streaming giants. Woo! Hey, is Judd Nelson
The new
still alive?
Animaniacs
Let's go
isn't
get
that
6
bad,
episodes of
actually,
Bender.
so
They can fight the robot from Short Circuit. I mean, it. Return to the Atlanta area of the San Fernando Valley and follow a washed-up guy who's out to prove that there's more to him than one thing he did in the 80s. William Zabka. Johnny Lawrence. It turns out he got crank-kicked so hard his entire life collapsed, ultimately turning him into a booze hound with a 2-word vocabulary.
Cobra, like the badass snake. And you're being a Cobra Kai is about being badass. Don't be a What? It's badass. Nightmare is for Truckosaurus was badass. Those are moves. Kicking is badass. Drowning is for all right? Don't be a
Who's so stuck in the past, you'll start to wonder if that kick actually put him into a waking coma.
Put one of those hash browns at the end, you know, like hash brown team Cobra Kai or something. www period Cobra Kai period COM, all lowercase. This concussion nonsense.
You might want to rethink that last one, Unfrozen Caveman Sensei.
That's a Facebook. Wow.
But no former antagonist reframed as a protagonist is complete without his former protagonist reframed as an antagonist frenemy. Enter Daniel LaRusso, the Karate Kid who
that was a
definitely stopped
mouthful.
practicing karate. But never gave up on his Asian fetish.
The yanagi, or yanagi-ba, depending on the region, is a knife used exclusively for cutting sashimi.
This guy definitely has a waifu pillow. When Cobra Kai rises again, he'll defend his version of the martial art, a boring hybrid of chores and therapy that only works by accident once you've tricked a teenager into jacking it for you. Mr. Miyagi would be so proud if you just stopped talking about him for once in your adult life.
Mr. Miyagi had to teach me. Only Mr. Miyagi could do it. Mr. Miyagi didn't want me to compete anymore. Wish you were here to give me some of that Miyagi wisdom right now. Mr. Miyagi took me to this beautiful lake up north to train. Mr. Miyagi built this a few years before he died. Mr. Miyagi treated me like a son, not a foreigner. That was Mr. Miyagi's favorite song. Mr. Miyagi, you're such a great teacher.
Please stop talking about the old man you were
No.
best friends with in high school. But this show
Keep talking.
isn't just about old Karate Kids. It's also about the next Karate Kids. Sorry, the next Karate
Hey,
Kids.
we'll get to it. Yeah, what even
And
is
will come
that?
through. Stupid movie.
Yeah.
These Karate Kids.
Yes,
Miguel,
thank you.
his decision to learn karate brings
I
him
still like that
confidence
movie,
and
but
gets him paralyzed.
It's
Wow, that got
just
fast. Daniel's
not
daughter,
the Karate
Sam,
Kid.
who grew up doing martial arts. Okay, sure. Aisha, the only one with parents sensible enough to keep her out of season 3.
After the fight, her parents moved her to a private school.
Lip/Hawk, the kid who can have exactly one gimmick at a time.
So I'm not supposed to mention his lip at all?
Leaving early to fix that stupid haircut?
Dimitri, an insecure nerd with a bright future in a college improv comedy group.
I'm at peace with my depression. Last thing I need to be is suicidal.
Tori, the Tory of the bunch. Raymond, a live-action Nickelodeon character who snuck into the show for a season.
Heretofore, you can refer to me as Stingray.
Robbie, the son that Johnny gave up on because he could never shut his mouth. Literally. And Anthony, the son that Danny clearly gave up on because even though he lives with him, he could not give less of a about this little a-hole.
Dad, where the hell's my drink? Hurry up!
You know what? I'm gonna throw him in the goddamn pool.
Yeah, you know, I'd adopt my rival son to spend less time around this kid, too. Sometimes you just have a dud in your hands.
A triangle schmuffin?
And
what is this,
then he comes
Afghanistan?
back like
Explore a series where everyone bullies.
he's been spending the last 2 years
always
cleansing.
leads to them turning into overnight karate masters.
No hard feelings.
Where Johnny was bullied by his sensei, Danny was bullied by Johnny, and Johnny was bullied by Danny.
I kicked his face. I'm just busting your chops.
So when he meets some nerds who are getting bullied by the popular kids, Johnny bullies the nerds into learning karate.
I see losers, I see nerds. I see a fat kid with a funny hat with his popping out.
Nice shirt.
Thanks.
I'm joking, it sucks.
So the nerds can use karate to bully the popular kids.
God, that's that's still such a good fucking moment.
Sensei who bullied Johnny to bully the nerds turned popular bullies who bullied Johnny into learning karate in the first place until Johnny's karate is strong enough to bully
I think we need a
back.
flow chart
Did I
now.
Get that right? It's like a vicious circle shaped like the drum in Karate Kid 2, which means bullying is part of balance because you can't have balance with. Quiet! Yes, Sensei. So enjoy a battle of good versus Cobra, not seen since Dodgeball. That's not exactly prestige television, but is the best around for a binge-worthy nostalgia trip that takes all of these 80s archetypes who could easily settle their differences with a big karate fight and treats them like actual characters with layers and depth who settle all their differences with a big karate fight. If it ain't broke, right? Starring
All right, here we go.
Cobra Commander. Machio man. Marvel casts Boys Nova immediately. Living in a van down by the river. Don't talk to me or my dumb son ever again. Richard Jewell. This cameo brought you
my
Seattle's
God.
best Hawaiian restaurant, Kona Kitchen. Let them fight. Insider Valley references.
Come visit any of our locations in Tarzana, Woodland Hills, North Hollywood, or Sherman Oaks.
My girlfriend bartends at this place over in Cahuenga.
5 a.m. tomorrow morning, corner of Fulton and Raymer.
I worked at Fat Sal's all summer.
I came here, well, in and out, and then here.
Easter eggs.
Defeat does not exist in this dojo.
What does it do?
I fixed it for you.
God, I loved this one.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Is that why you brought me here? To trick me into doing karate?
Deep cut Easter eggs.
Would that qualify? Just him punching a window? That one still
Holy
gets
crap,
me,
you
man.
nerds. Who would even notice that these were Easter eggs?
Hey, Sam, banana ramen chocolate chip pancakes are up.
Hot damn. This shit's blowing my mind. What the fuck?
Reasonable solutions to end all this karate madness.
Calling the police?
And take
Hey, I have
off
a-
your shoes. Sorry, just had to get that off my chest.
Oh, that's triggering me.
Breaking board.
Oh, I like that
You know, it's a
title.
good thing not one person in the entire valley has taken an MMA class. These kids would all be so screwed. I need to find a way to touch a lot of people at the
Okay.
same time.
So we're going to talk about two things. I want to go back to their bit about Johnny being stuck in the past and like all the references to him not knowing about social media, the internet, and stuff like that. What I found out going through some interviews here recently is that William Zabka, while knows what the internet is, had no idea how to use social media or anything about it. And Ralph Macchio was really the one that kind of tutored him on the set when they started all this and be like, what's an Instagram? This is how you make a story. This is how you make a post. And I was just like, holy crap, part of this is real. At least to some extent. I highly doubt it's as exaggerated as it is in the show. The police thing, if you watch the show, if you watch my reactions, or my like 2 hour, 3 hour like talk about season 3, Kreese set them up to where you can't call the police at this point. The police, he was the one that went to the police first on the LaRussos and on Johnny. And in the public eye already as the season kicks off, both their schools are not in the best of light, especially anything tied to Daniel. Daniel has been sitting with this like bad media drawback for the past 2 seasons as well. And now he's got his wife has a restraining order against her because of something she did to Kreese. Everything that happens with Kreese happens when they come to him. And he knows how to play his cards right. He plays his veteran card. He plays his strategies to, no matter if they called the cops, they will always look like the crazy people. They have no hard proof on anything Kreese has done. And that's literally the only thing that they need at this point. If they were to try to go down this legal route, they would have to have hard, damning evidence, like a video, photograph, and he could maybe even play that off that it was doctored. They'd have to verify it, of course, but there's nothing to show that Johnny and Daniel's feud outside of Cobra Kai, outside of Kreese at least, is something that's going on outside of his little bubble. He's done a really good job, and they did a really good job of framing that between season 2 and to season 3 of him alienating both Johnny and Daniel and putting them in these positions where the public sees only those two as the villains, specifically Daniel, specifically Miyagi-Do, especially after what happened with Miguel and how public that became. Public perception is against them, not Kreese. And he knows that. But when it came down to it and push come to shove, and again, this comes back to a little thing that I found kind of hard to believe. Like Daniel living in a house that expensive with things that are that nice, you can't tell me he doesn't have security cameras set up around his home, because that alone would be the evidence he needs to show that, look, Kreese's students broke into my house and beat the shit out of all these kids. So where's this going to go? Right now, it doesn't really look good for anybody by the end of it, but Kreese, I think, has that edge that if push did come to shove, he played all of his cards at the right points to get ahead of anything that they would try to do, and all it would do would be further defame them for coming after him. But fun stuff. I love this show so much. It's cheesy. It's drama that I love. It keeps the thrills up. And while sometimes the karate is not the best karate, the actors and actresses involved in this are putting in the effort to learn it. That's why Mary in the beginning wasn't the most fluid in what she was doing. I mean, the stunt double did a lot of the things that didn't involve her face. You know, they have all trained since then. And some of the stuff that they do, especially Miguel and Hawk, Jacob Bertrand and Sholo Moriaduena, are putting in the work to get these moves down. Even Tanner Buchanan is doing the work to get it all down. Now, they're not professionals, not professional stuntmen, not professional fighters, but when they're on camera, man, they put in the work and they do a lot of what we see unless their head's turned. So it's really impressive. And obviously, even going back to the originals, William Zabka he came from, athleticism. He was a wrestler. He played sports. So even though he learned karate during the movie, he performed way better than Ralph Macchio ever looked doing karate. And I don't know if, aside from learning the choreography itself and being trained the way he was trained, I don't think he kept up with it whatsoever. I don't think he's necessarily had the most athletic life since then either. So, and it's very noticeable in the beginning. When they approached him, this is another thing I've learned in some interviews, is that they didn't really, I was like, listen, you might have to throw a kick, you might have to throw a punch, you're not really going to do much. They baited him in. Now that he's in, all right, season 2, you're gonna do a little bit more. And then season 3, you're going to actually have some fights. And where's it going to go from there? He's, Zapka's putting in the work. You can tell. I hope that I love Ralph Macchio, and this isn't like a stab against him, but he needs to do some stretches or something, man. But because William like outperforms all of the legacy characters except when it came to the fight with Daniel and Chosen. I thought that actually they pulled a lot of that off pretty well. But yeah, Zapka goes hard and rough and tumble in it. And even in their back and forths, Ralph Macchio in a couple interviews has been like, this is all fake, right? You're not coming at me, man. It's so much fun. I love the people. I love the characters on the screen. I love the actors that they have across the board off the screen. Following them, seeing them do their things, Sholo's on Twitch. They all are pretty active on social media, and there's a lot. They just have a lot of fun, man. And their chemistry, you can see it off screen in their interviews and their commentaries. I don't know. I think it's a lot of the magic that brings the show alive. For all of its corniness, all of its plot holes, if they exist, all of the extreme suspensions of disbelief you might have to go on, the show works and it excels and rises above all of that. It's emotionally hitting, it's gripping, it's hilarious, and it's just food for the soul, and it gives you that juicy stab of nostalgia at every opportunity, but I don't think it necessarily hinges on it all that much, but I love it. If you haven't seen my reactions, go check those out and let me know your thoughts on this down below on the show, where you think it's going to go from here. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everybody.